Welcome to a new fragrance review. Today I'm going to tell you my top 5 fragrance styles. So, what is a fragrance style? What do I mean with a fragrance style? It means kind of nutting everything at the same time. Like I could put whatever I want actually, and stuff that you wouldn't put in the same category. But what I mean with a fragrance style is that if there's that thing as a main theme or a main descriptor of the fragrance, this is the category that I'm most likely gonna enjoy as a fragrance. Example of what that could mean would be, let's say, 90s fragrance, or a fougère, or a citrus fragrance, or bergamot based fragrance, or a cologne, or like, the cologne type, not the cologne like as a perfume, but cologne like eau de cologne, like classic stuff. For example, could be a type of fragrance. Aquatic could be a type of fragrance. I think from now you understand what I mean. So I'm gonna go with my top 5 favorite type of fragrance or fragrance style. Number 5, it's simple fragrance. And it's funny, I see a lot of people saying that complex fragrance are nice, and I agree that some complex fragrance could be nice, but the more complex it is, I think the more chance there is that one of the notes are not nice. And simple fragrance, it's easy. I look, there's like 6 notes, and I know like all of these notes, I like them. I'm probably gonna like it. Another thing that's nice with those simple fragrance is that, all those complex fragrance, like cooled water, you try to smell all the notes. There's a note of tobacco in cool water. If you might know it, you might have smelled it, but most people don't know it and don't smell it. And that's the thing with complex fragrance. There's often notes you won't smell, but a simple fragrance, it's more likely that you're gonna smell all of them. I think it's nicer to analyze them. It's easier if the fragrance is more simple. I can analyze it in a shorter period of time. Also, to make my videos versus if it's complex, I want fragrance to show you. I got this fragrance like last year, toward the end of the year, maybe November, December, and I'm still not confident enough to do the review because it's too complex, and I don't like that. I mean, I'd like to. And it's a nice fragrance and all, but I would like to have done the review versus this one that I reviewed this week. It was a simple fragrance, and it was a good thing because there was absolutely nothing that they gave me in the sample. I was able to analyze it easier. And I think it's nice to analyze a fragrance, get the notes, and see how it goes in time. And simple fragrance are just nicer to analyze, in my opinion. Number 4, it's Chypre, and the Chypre family, really, it's nice. I like it. Most of the time they have aldehyde, and I really enjoy the smell of aldehyde. There's oak moss. I also enjoy it. They're not like my favorite notes, but they're nice and enjoyable notes. I tend to like older fragrance more than newer fragrance, though some newer fragrance are good too. I mean, just tend to. And Chypre are more in the old school way of making fragrance in the more older time, and maybe that's why I also enjoy it. I also like the fact that usually Chypre have like a life on its own. They start more citrusy and maybe more, depending if it's a woody Chypre or some kind of other Chypre, it will start in a way, then it will go being more floral or more, sometimes more woody and more different, and then it will keep going into another type of fragrance again. It will be more animalic or woody, and I think it's nice. And I fragrances I also like are non-linear. It's not in the list, but I think what I like about Chypre is that most of the time they are non-linear, but they are also non-linear fragrance that usually use notes that I like animalic notes, like leather, it is still animalic, and some woody notes also, oak moss, aldehydes. So that's why it's their number 4. Number 3, which probably is gonna be the most popular one of the 5 in today's video, it's tobacco fragrance. And really, tobacco fragrance, they smell good, they smell nice, it smells really great. And I like tobacco because also it's different how the fragrance can be. Some good example of tobacco fragrance is the Dreamer by Versace and Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. I think they're nice, they're elegant. I think every time there's tobacco in the fragrance, maybe not every time, but like almost every time, the fragrance is gonna be smelling good and elegant. And I like that. Number 2, it's 80s fragrance, and especially early 80, but the whole 80 era, those powerhouse fragrance with ton of aldehydes, ton of oak moss, that project like crazy. I think it's a little bit like the ship fragrance, that the ship kind of goes over the era, and also 80s fragrance are not all ship, but it still have, you know, in the 60s there's a lot of ship that was there, and the 80s kind of came back with at that era, but with another type, another formulation, not being ship anymore. I like those fragrances. They smell good, they smell bold, they smell powerful, and they smell like nothing that people are smelling anymore. Also, they're like super cheap usually. You can, most of those 80s fragrance, you can get them at ridiculous price if you look at other fragrance, and they really often outperform modern fragrance in projection and longevity for a fraction of the price. So I think 80s fragrance are really nice, and they are often stuff that I blind buy knowing that I will enjoy. And I know I buy this, it's from the 80s, I'm gonna enjoy it. Sometimes it's not true, but most of the time it is. And number 1 type or style fragrance that I love, it's leather fragrance. And leather fragrance, there's a little bit of all the previous fragrance, a little bit of the tobacco type that I said, that everything with tobacco smells elegant. I would say that everything with leather smell elegant, but also show power, smell, not show power, but you know, smells like powerful. And I don't know how to explain it really. I would say if you'd be in medieval time and compare tobacco fragrance and leather fragrance, it would be like being a king, and the tobacco fragrance will be having like noble clothes and the crown and everything, and the leather fragrance will be having like the armor with all the gold and the stuff inside of it that a king has. This is how I could compare those two types of fragrance according to me. And the note of leather, I think it's just beautiful. It smells really nice, it's really bold, it's really divisive, and I like that. I like that. And even though it's divisive, I'm often getting compliment from fragrance that has both tobacco and leather notes too. Even like fragrance that you would imagine people would not enjoy. And I'm not seeking compliments, but I mean, it shows that it's not bad fragrance according to other people. And just I think leather fragrance is nice. Also leather, there's a lot of stuff that makes it so often the leather notes kind of enhance the fragrance. Sometimes it's the heart of the fragrance, just like it. So hope you enjoyed this video. If it's the case, we'll like and share, and please tell me which type of fragrance is your favorite type. I want to know. Please flood the comments. Tell me all what kind of fragrance you enjoy, so you can start conversation about this. So thanks for watching. See you soon.